First Contact's Price. Supreme Commander Zorax stood at the observation deck of the Nexeri Empire's flagship Eternal Dawn, her 4 eyes fixed on the holographic display of the solar system before her. The third planet from the star particularly caught her attention, a vibrant blue marble swirling with white clouds. Earth, as its inhabitants called it. Primitive, she muttered, her scaled fingers tapping against the crystalline console. Yet they persist in denying us our rightful claims. The Nexeri Empire had stumbled upon Earth's solar system 6 months ago during a routine survey of potential mining sites. Initially, they had dismissed the system as unremarkable, until their sensors detected significant deposits of quantum-reactive elements in the asteroid belt and on Mars, elements crucial to maintaining the Empire's faster-than-light drive technology. According to galactic law, any civilization that hadn't achieved faster-than-light travel had no claim to resources beyond their immediate planetary sphere. The humans should have submitted to the Empire's mining rights without question. Instead, they had done something unprecedented. They had simply said no. High Commander, her second-in-command, Kexri, approached with a data slate. The human delegation has responded to our ultimatum. Zorax's upper eyes narrowed while her lower ones continued monitoring the tactical display. Let me guess. Another refusal? Not exactly. Kexri's voice carried an unusual note of uncertainty. They sent only 3 words. You were warned. A warning? From a species that had barely reached their own moon. Zorax felt her scales bristle with indignation. The Nexeri Empire had subjugated dozens of civilizations far more advanced than humanity. Their fleet of 300 warships could reduce Earth's major cities to ash within hours. Deploy the mining crews to the Mars sector, she commanded. If they resist, authorize lethal force. It's time to show these humans their place in the galaxy. The first mining vessels, massive constructs bristling with excavation equipment, began their approach to Mars. Escort fighters flanked them in tight formation, their energy weapons primed. Zorax waited for the humans to either scramble their primitive chemical rockets in a futile defense or finally submit to reality. Instead, nothing happened. The silence was more unnerving than any resistance. Zorax's membrane-covered ears twitched as she studied the tactical displays. No movement from Earth. No launches. No communications. Nothing. The mining fleet reached Mars orbit without incident. As the first excavator prepared to descend to the surface, Zorax's tactical officer suddenly straightened. Commander, energy spike detected in the Martian polar region. Before Zorax could respond, a brilliant blue light erupted from Mars' surface. Not a weapon blast, more like a ripple in space itself. As it washed over the mining fleet, ships simply disappeared. No explosions, no debris. They were simply gone, as if they had never existed. What in the void was that? Zorax demanded, all 4 eyes wide with shock. Unknown, Commander. We're detecting similar energy signatures activating throughout the system. Asteroids, moons, space stations we didn't even know existed. Zorax felt a chill run down her spine as she realized the truth. The humans hadn't been primitive at all. They had hidden their true capabilities, waiting to reveal them only when necessary. And now, full retreat, she ordered, but it was too late. Blue waves of energy were rippling through space in complex patterns, herding the Nexeri fleet like cattle. Ships tried to jump to FTL, only to find their drives completely unresponsive. Others found themselves suddenly hundreds of thousands of kilometers from their previous positions, their carefully maintained formation shattered. Then Zorax saw them, human ships emerging from what looked like folds in space itself. They were beautiful in their alienness, smooth, dark vessels that seemed to bend light around them, carrying no visible weapons yet radiating an aura of absolute power. A transmission cut through all Nexeri frequencies, broadcast in perfect Imperial standard. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force. Your Empire's laws mean nothing here. You have violated our space, threatened our people, and demonstrated hostile intent. Under normal circumstances, this would mean your destruction. Zerax felt her heart skip a beat as she waited for the death sentence to fall. However, the human continued. We believe in second chances. You have 6 hours to retreat beyond the Kuiper Belt. Any ships remaining after that time will be removed from existence. This is not a negotiation. The transmission ended, leaving Zorax staring at the tactical display in disbelief. The humans could have destroyed them at any time. Instead, they were offering mercy, but making it clear that it was mercy, not weakness. Your orders, Commander, Kexri asked softly. Zerax looked at the blue marble of Earth again, seeing it with new eyes. Not a primitive world to be exploited, but the home of a species that had completely upended her understanding of power and technology. They hadn't developed along the expected paths. They hadn't revealed their advances to the galaxy. They had simply waited, watched, and prepared. Send word to the Imperial capital, she said finally. Tell them we need to fundamentally reassess our understanding of humanity and get our ships out of this system. Now, as the Nexeri fleet began its hurried withdrawal, Zorax couldn't help but wonder how many other primitive species were out there, quietly advancing along paths the Empire had never even considered. For the first time in her career, she felt something she had never expected: gratitude for mercy from an inferior race. The humans had changed everything with their response, not through overwhelming force or brutal destruction, but through precise, measured power and unexpected mercy. The galaxy would never be the same, and perhaps, Zorax thought, that was exactly what it needed. The silent response. 5 years earlier, Lunar Defense Command, far side of the moon. Dr. Elena Santos stared at the data streaming across her quantum displays, her dark eyes reflecting the cascade of numbers and symbols. The detection grid she'd helped design had just picked up something impossible: a massive fleet of ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. They're here, she whispered, then louder to the AI interface. AI. Initiate Protocol Lighthouse. Authorization Santos 709. Protocol Lighthouse initiated. The AI responded smoothly, activating dormant sensor networks. Beginning passive data collection. Would you like me to notify the Defense Council? Elena smiled grimly. They've probably already known for the past hour. But yes, send confirmation. It's time to see if our preparations were enough. Humanity had detected the first signs of alien civilization 15 years ago. Subtle distortions in spacetime that their quantum sensors had identified as FTL wake signatures. Instead of announcing this discovery to the world, a decision had been made at the highest levels: prepare in silence. The resulting project, codenamed Silent Shield, had become the most extensive secret undertaking in human history. While officially, nations squabbled over minor territorial disputes and corporations competed for markets, behind the scenes, humanity had united in an unprecedented way. In her office overlooking the lunar installation's massive fabrication facilities, Elena pulled up the classified files she'd helped compile on the Nexeri Empire. For months, they'd been watching the alien civilization's mining operations in nearby systems, gathering intelligence through means the Nexeri couldn't detect. Dr. Santos, AI interrupted her thoughts. Admiral Chen is requesting your presence in the Strategic Command Center. The walk through the lunar base's corridors gave Elena time to organize her thoughts. They'd known this day was coming. The only question had been when. The massive installation, carved deep into the moon's rock, was just one of hundreds of similar facilities scattered throughout the solar system, all invisible to conventional detection methods. Admiral Sarah Chen was waiting in the command center, her silver-streaked hair pulled back in a tight bun as she studied the massive holographic display of the solar system. Other military and scientific leaders were present, either physically or via quantum-entangled holograms that allowed instantaneous communication across the solar system. Doctor, Chen nodded as Elena entered. Your quantum camouflage systems are performing exactly as designed. The Nexeri have no idea we're here. As expected, Elena replied, taking her place at the conference table. Their scanning technology follows predictable patterns. They've never encountered a civilization that developed along our path. That had been humanity's greatest advantage. While other species had developed traditional energy weapons and shields, humans had taken a different approach. After discovering quantum mechanics, Earth's scientists had focused on manipulation of space-time itself. The result was technology that didn't so much overpower enemies as simply deny their ability to fight in the first place. They've begun their standard colonization protocol. General Marcus Williams reported, his hologram flickering slightly. First contact, assessment of technology level, claims of mining rights under their galactic law. Everything matching the pattern we've observed in other systems. And our response? Elena asked, although she already knew the answer. Admiral Chen's lips curved in a slight smile. Exactly as planned. Minimal communication, no revelation of our capabilities, and a firm no to their demands. Their historical data shows they've never encountered this type of response from a pre-FTL civilization. The room's eye assistant projected a new set of data streams showing the positions of humanity's hidden defense grid. Quantum displacement generators were concealed throughout the asteroid belt. Space-time manipulation devices waited in silent readiness on Mars and various moons. And most importantly, the Ghost Fleet, ships that could slip between the folds of space-time itself, stood ready but unseen. Latest intelligence suggests they'll resort to force within the next 3 months, Williams continued. Their mining operations in the Centauri system are behind schedule, and their Empire's FTL network requires constant supply of quantum reactive elements to maintain stability. Elena nodded. Perfect. The longer they wait, the more data we gather on their operational patterns. AirIA has already identified 17 critical vulnerabilities in their standard combat formations. What about the civilian population? Dr. James Morrison, the Council's Ethical Oversight Director, spoke up from his hologram. Are we certain our response won't trigger retaliatory strikes against Earth itself? That's precisely why we developed the Quantum Displacement Network, Elena explained. When activated, it doesn't just defend against attacks. It makes targeting Earth or any of our colonies physically impossible. The laws of physics themselves will refuse to cooperate with their weapons. Admiral Chen stood, her presence commanding attention. We've spent 15 years preparing for this moment. Every scenario has been simulated, every contingency planned for. The Nexari Empire expects to find a primitive civilization barely capable of spaceflight. Instead, they'll discover that humanity has developed technology that makes their entire approach to warfare obsolete. And after? Someone asked. Once we've demonstrated our capabilities. Then we negotiate, Chen replied firmly. From a position of strength, yes, but also with mercy. We show them that humanity isn't interested in empire building or domination. We protect what's ours, help those who need it, and maintain peace through capability rather than fear. Elena turned her attention back to the quantum displays, watching the Nexari ships move through their solar system like pieces on a cosmic chessboard. They had no idea they were already surrounded, their every movement anticipated, their technology analyzed and countered before they'd even arrived. 3 months, she mused. Time enough to gather plenty of data on their response patterns. When the time comes, they won't just see our technology. They'll understand that we've been watching, learning, and preparing all along. The assembled leaders nodded in agreement. Humanity had chosen a different path, not the expected route of bigger guns and stronger shields, but one of fundamental understanding and manipulation of reality itself. Soon, the Nexari Empire would learn that sometimes the quietest civilizations were the ones you should fear most. As the meeting continued, Elena couldn't help but smile. The Nexari thought they were dealing with primitives who needed to be taught their place in the galaxy. Instead, they were about to become humanity's first lesson to the stars. Appearances can be deceiving, and underestimating Earth was a mistake you only made once. Ghost Fleet rising. Captain Maya Rodriguez sat in the command chair of the EDF ghost ship Quantum Shadow, her vessel hidden in a fold of spacetime just beyond Mars. To conventional sensors, her ship didn't exist. Even looking directly at its location, one would see only empty space. The quantum displacement field didn't just hide the ship, it shifted it slightly out of phase with normal reality. All Ghost Fleet vessels report ready, Captain. Her XO, Commander David Chen, reported quietly. Quantum synchronization at optimal levels. Maya nodded, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display, showing the Nexuri mining fleet approaching Mars. The aliens had finally lost patience with humanity's refusal to yield. Just as predicted. AI. She addressed the ship's eye. Status of the quantum trap network. All nodes are primed and synchronized, Captain. The AI responded. Quantum field generators are operating at 99.97% efficiency. The Nexuri fleet will be unable to escape once the network activates. The technology that made this possible was elegantly simple in concept, if mind-bendingly complex in execution. Rather than trying to destroy enemy ships, humanity's quantum technology simply altered the space around them, making conventional weapons useless and FTL travel impossible within the affected zone. Signal from Lunar Command, Commander Chen announced. Admiral Chen has given the go-ahead. Operation Ghost Dawn is authorized. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Send acknowledgement to all Ghost Fleet vessels. Initiate quantum displacement in 3, 2, 1. Across the solar system, hundreds of hidden quantum generators activated simultaneously. Space itself seemed to shiver as overlapping fields of altered reality spread outward, invisible to normal sensors, but devastating in their effect. The Nexuri mining fleet, along with their military escort, suddenly found themselves trapped in a bubble of space where their technology simply refused to function properly. Quantum trap is stable, Araya reported. Nexuri vessels are attempting to engage FTL drives. Attempt failed. Their weapon systems are experiencing cascade failures as local spacetime refuses to propagate their energy beams. Maya watched as confusion spread through the alien fleet. Their formations began to break down as ships tried desperately to understand why their technology was failing. It was time for Phase 2. Ghost Fleet, execute emergence protocol, she ordered. Let's show them what they're dealing with. The Ghost Fleet's emergence was deliberately choreographed for psychological impact. One by one, human ships simply appeared, stepping out of the folds in spacetime, as if walking through invisible doors. The vessels were unlike anything the Nexuri had encountered, smooth, dark shapes that seemed to bend light around them, with no visible weapons or propulsion systems. Receiving panic signals from multiple Nexuri vessels, Commander Chen reported, a note of satisfaction in his voice. Their commanders are trying to understand how we're blocking their scans. Their sensors can't get consistent readings on our ships. That was by design. The Ghost Fleet vessels didn't just hide from sensors, they actively confused them, appearing to be different sizes and masses from moment to moment. Some scans would show them as massive as small moons, others as tiny as fighters, while in reality, they were neither. Multiple Nexuri ships attempting to fire weapons, Araya announced. Quantum field is redirecting their energy attacks into subspace. Zero damage to our vessels. Maya keyed her comm. This is Ghost Fleet actual to all vessels. Execute containment pattern Delta. Remember, we're here to demonstrate capability, not destroy. The Ghost Fleet moved with perfect coordination, their quantum drives allowing them to shift position instantly without seemingly moving through the intervening space. They herded the Nexuri fleet into a tight cluster, systematically cutting off every avenue of escape. Ma'am, Chen reported suddenly, we're detecting power spikes from 3 Nexuri cruisers. They appear to be attempting to overload their reactors. Maya's expression hardened. Araya, selective quantum displacement. Remove those ships to the holding zone. Before the Nexuri cruisers could self-destruct, they simply vanished, reappearing in a carefully prepared containment area near Titan. Their crews would be safe but completely unable to harm themselves or others. Send wideband transmission to the remaining Nexari vessels, Maya ordered. Let's make our position clear. The message was broadcast in perfect Imperial standard. Your weapons cannot harm us. Your shields cannot stop us. Your fastest ships cannot escape us. We have been watching your empire for years, learning your tactics, understanding your technology. We chose to remain silent until now. Remember this moment. Remember that humanity could have destroyed you, but chose mercy instead. On her tactical display, Maya watched as the message hit home. The Nexari fleet's formations had completely broken down, their ships clustering together like frightened animals. Their mighty empire, which had conquered countless civilizations through superior firepower, was facing something they couldn't understand. An enemy that didn't just have better weapons, but operated on an entirely different level of warfare. Signal from the Nexari flagship, Chen reported. Supreme Commander Zorax is requesting direct communication. Maya nodded. Put her through. The alien commander's image appeared on her screen, all four eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. Your technology, Zorax spoke carefully, it's impossible. We've conquered thousands of worlds, encountered hundreds of species. None have developed anything like this. That's because you all followed the same technological path, Maya replied calmly. Bigger weapons, stronger shields, faster ships. Humanity chose to understand the fundamental nature of spacetime instead. We don't need to destroy your ships when we can simply tell physics itself to ignore them. There was a long pause before Zorax spoke again. What are your terms? You have 6 hours to retreat beyond the Kuiper Belt, Maya stated. Additionally, you will acknowledge humanity's sovereignty over this entire solar system. In return, we will share with your scientists our understanding of basic quantum mechanics, enough to help stabilize your FTL network without requiring constant mining of new resources. You would share technology with us. Zorax seemed stunned. After we threatened your world. Maya's lips curved in a slight smile. Consider it a demonstration of how humanity differs from your empire. We believe in elevation through understanding, not subjugation through force. This is your opportunity to learn from that philosophy. As the Nexari fleet began its hasty withdrawal, Maya couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Humanity had faced its first major interstellar crisis, not with violence and destruction, but with innovation and mercy. They had shown the galaxy a new way of thinking about power and technology. Message from Admiral Chen, Commander Chen announced. She says Phase 3 is ready to begin when ordered. Maya nodded. Phase 3, the diplomatic initiative that would reshape the galaxy's power structure. But that was another story, for another time. Stand down quantum field generators, she ordered. Let them go home and tell their empire what they found here. The galaxy needs to understand that humanity isn't interested in conquest. We just want to be left in peace, and we have the power to ensure that peace, one way or another. Empire's reckoning. The Imperial Palace on Nexar Prime had never been so quiet. Emperor Vexteri stood before the Great Council, his ceremonial armor doing little to hide his agitation as he read through Supreme Commander Zorax's report for the third time. The massive chamber, with its soaring crystal spires and hovering platforms, was filled with the Empire's most powerful leaders, yet none dared speak. This data, the Emperor finally said, his voice echoing through the chamber, it has been verified. High Scientist Melker stepped forward, his research robes shimmering with embedded data streams. Yes, my Emperor, multiple sources confirm it. The humans didn't just defeat our fleet. They rendered our most advanced technology completely irrelevant. The implications were staggering. For millennia, the Nexari Empire had expanded through technological superiority. Their energy weapons, shield systems, and FTL drives were the most advanced in known space. Or at least, they had been until humanity revealed their true capabilities. Show me the battle footage again, Vexteri commanded. The chamber's holographic systems activated, displaying the confrontation in perfect detail. The Council watched in silence as human vessels appeared from nowhere, their quantum technology making a mockery of Nexeri defenses. It wasn't just the technology that disturbed them. It was the precise, calculated nature of the response. They knew exactly how we would react. General Caxvol observed, his military training allowing him to see the deeper implications. Every move we made was anticipated and countered before we made it. Because they've been watching us. Zarak spoke up from her position near the Emperor's platform. Her recent experience had earned her a place in this crucial meeting. For years, possibly decades, they observed our expansion, studied our tactics, and prepared specifically to counter them. The Emperor's grip tightened on his ceremonial staff. And now they offer us technology. After humiliating our fleet. Not exactly, my Emperor, Melchior corrected carefully. They offer us basic principles, enough to understand how their quantum manipulation works, but not the advanced applications they've developed. More importantly, they're offering a solution to our Empire's greatest crisis that caught everyone's attention. The Empire's reliance on quantum reactive elements for their FTL network had been driving their expansion for centuries. Without constant mining of new resources, their entire civilization would collapse. The humans' understanding of quantum mechanics, Melchior continued, it's fundamentally different from ours. They didn't just improve existing technology. They developed an entirely new way of interacting with reality itself. Their offer would allow us to stabilize our FTL network without constant expansion. Political leader Centra, her ceremonial headpiece glinting in the chamber's light, finally spoke. The real question, my Emperor, is what this means for the Empire's future. Our entire civilization is built on the principle of technological superiority. If word of this spreads, it already has, Zarax interrupted, earning shocked looks from the traditionalists. The humans made no attempt to hide their capabilities. Reports are already circulating through the outer colonies. The subject races are talking. The Emperor sank into his throne, looking suddenly ancient despite his genetic enhancements. Options. General Caxvol stepped forward. We could marshal the entire Imperial fleet. Even with their advanced technology, the humans couldn't possibly. No, Zarax cut him off sharply. You weren't there. You didn't see what I saw. They could have destroyed us at any moment. They chose not to. That's the message they wanted to send. A message of mercy. Centra mused, her political mind already working through the implications, or perhaps a warning. They demonstrated power while simultaneously showing restraint. High Scientist Melchior's data streams flickered as he processed new information. There's something else to consider. The quantum principles they've shared. They're revolutionary, yes, but they're also just the beginning. The humans are hinting at possibilities we never imagined. If we accept their offer, if we learn from them, we adapt, the Emperor said suddenly, rising from his throne. As we have always done, the Empire has faced challenges before. But this time, he paused, looking around the chamber, this time we must change not just our technology, but our understanding of power itself. The council chamber erupted in discussion, but Zarax remained quiet, remembering the calm certainty in the human commanders' voices. They hadn't acted like conquerors or even victors. They had acted like teachers, showing a younger civilization a new way of thinking. My Emperor, she spoke up, silencing the chamber. There's one more thing. During the confrontation, I accessed some of their public data networks. Their entertainment, their literature, their historical records. They're filled with stories about first contact scenarios. They've been thinking about this moment for centuries, imagining how they would handle meeting a more advanced civilization. And, the Emperor prompted. And in most of their stories, they imagined themselves as the weaker species, forced to use cunning and determination to survive. They prepared not just technologically, but philosophically. They asked themselves what kind of spacefaring civilization they wanted to be. Centra's political instincts seized on this. Then we have an opportunity. The Empire has always ruled through force. Perhaps it's time to rule through understanding instead. The Emperor was quiet for a long moment, his 4 eyes focused on the holographic display still showing the human quantum ships. Finally, he spoke. Prepare a diplomatic delegation. High Scientist Melker, you will lead the scientific exchange. Supreme Commander Zorax, you will advise them. You've seen humanity's power firsthand. Political leader Centra, draft a new imperial doctrine. If we cannot be the most powerful civilization in the galaxy, we will be the most adaptable. As the council dispersed, Zorax lingered, watching the holographic display. The human ships seemed to shimmer, their quantum fields bending reality itself. They had changed everything, not through destruction or domination, but by showing the galaxy a new way of thinking about power, technology, and civilization itself. The Empire would adapt, as it always had. But this time, they would do so not to conquer, but to understand. The humans had given them not just a technological revolution, but a philosophical one. The question now was, were they wise enough to embrace it? New Dawn Protocol. 1 year later, the Galileo Station, Earth Luna L5 Point. The space station that would host humanity's first galactic diplomatic summit was a testament to human ingenuity. Galileo Station hung in space like a massive crystalline flower, its quantum-stabilized structure allowing it to exist partially in multiple dimensions at once. To visiting alien diplomats, it was both a marvel of engineering and a subtle reminder of humanity's technological capabilities. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, watching as ships from 24 different civilizations approached the station. Each vessel was escorted by a human ghost ship, their quantum fields synchronized to allow safe passage through Earth's defense network. The sight would have been impossible just a year ago. Quite a change from shooting at each other, Dr. Elena Santos commented, joining her at the window. The quantum physicist had become something of a celebrity among alien scientists since sharing humanity's basic quantum principles with the galaxy. Change is what we do best, Sarah replied with a slight smile. How are the Nexeri scientists progressing with the new FTL principles? Elena's eyes lit up with academic excitement. Brilliantly. Once they understood our approach to quantum mechanics, they started making innovations we hadn't even considered. Their experience with traditional FTL technology, combined with our quantum principles, they're already developing hybrid systems that could revolutionize interstellar travel. The Admiral nodded, pleased but not surprised. This had been part of humanity's plan from the beginning, not to dominate, but to catalyze. By sharing their knowledge selectively, they had sparked a renaissance of scientific and philosophical thinking throughout known space. Admiral, Araya's voice came through her neural link. The Nexeri diplomatic delegation has arrived. Emperor Vexteri requests your presence in the Grand Chamber. The station's Grand Chamber was a masterpiece of human architecture and quantum engineering. Its walls shifted between dimensions, making the room appear both intimate and vast simultaneously. The effect was deliberately designed to put visitors at ease while reminding them of humanity's unique capabilities. Emperor Vexteri had changed since their last meeting. His ceremonial armor was simpler now, more functional than decorative. Besides him stood Supreme Commander Zorax, who had become one of humanity's strongest advocates within the Empire. Admiral Chen. The Emperor greeted her with a respectful inclination of his head, a far cry from the imperial superiority of a year ago. Your station is remarkable. Thank you, Emperor, Sarah replied, though I suspect you'll find today's announcements even more remarkable. Other delegations were arriving. Representatives from dozens of species that had either been part of the Empire or lived in fear of it. Many had been surprised to receive invitations to this summit from humanity, a species that had been unknown to them just a year ago. Maya Rodriguez, now Fleet Commander of the Ghost Fleet, took her position at one of the quantum fold platforms that allowed speakers to be seen clearly by all attendees regardless of their position in the room. Her ship, The quantum shadow hung in space nearby, a silent guardian of the peace they were building. Representatives of galactic civilization, Maya began, her voice carrying easily through the chamber's quantum-enhanced acoustics. Welcome to the first Galactic Cooperative Summit. 1 year ago, humanity revealed itself to the galaxy not through conquest or submission, but through a demonstration of a different kind of power. The assembled delegates shifted uncomfortably, many remembering the reports of how human technology had rendered traditional space warfare obsolete. Today, Maya continued, we gather not as conquerors and conquered, not as advanced and primitive, but as equals with different perspectives and capabilities. Humanity proposes a new framework for galactic civilization, one based on cooperation, understanding, and mutual advancement. Dr. Elena Santos stepped forward, triggering a holographic display that filled the chamber with quantum equations and diagrams. What you're seeing is the next phase of our quantum technology development. But unlike traditional research, this will be a collaborative effort. We've discovered that different species perceive and interact with quantum reality in unique ways. Together, we can unlock possibilities that none of us could achieve alone. The chamber erupted in excited discussion as alien scientists began to grasp the implications, but it was Supreme Commander Zorax who asked the critical question. Why? Why share this knowledge? Why help the very empire that threatened your world? Admiral Chen took the platform, her presence commanding attention. Because humanity has spent centuries imagining this moment. In our fiction, our dreams, our nightmares, we've explored countless scenarios of first contact. We've imagined being the conquerors and the conquered, the teachers and the students, and we decided long ago what kind of spacefaring civilization we wanted to be. She gestured to the assembled delegates. We chose to be catalysts. Yes, we could have used our technology to dominate. We could have become another empire. Instead, we chose to be the spark that ignites a new age of galactic cooperation. Emperor Vexteri rose, his 4 eyes bright with understanding. You're not just changing the balance of power. You're changing how power itself works in the galaxy. Exactly, Elena confirmed. Traditional empire building is about controlling resources, enforcing compliance, but knowledge, understanding, innovation, these are resources that grow when shared. The more we collaborate, the more we all advance. The chamber's quantum fields shimmed as Maya activated a new holographic display, showing a network of interconnected worlds. We propose the establishment of the Galactic Scientific Cooperative. Each member civilization will contribute their unique perspectives and discoveries. Humanity will share more of our quantum technology, while other species share their own innovations. And the Empire, someone asked, will it simply cease to exist? Emperor Vexteri stepped forward. The Nexeri Empire will transform. We've already begun the process. Our colonies are being given autonomy. Our subject worlds are being freed. We will become facilitators of knowledge and trade rather than conquerors. Because you have no choice, a delegate challenged. Because we have seen a better way, Zorax responded firmly. Humanity could have destroyed us. Instead, they showed us how much more we could achieve through cooperation than conquest. Admiral Chen raised her hand, bringing focus back to the proceedings. We're not naive. We understand that change won't happen overnight. That's why Earth will serve as the guarantor of this new order. Our quantum defense network is being expanded. Any species that attempts to maintain or establish empire through force will find their military capability restricted. The threat was subtle but clear. Humanity's technology could render traditional space warfare impossible across entire sectors of space. They would maintain peace not through military might, but by simply denying the possibility of large-scale conflict. But that's not why you'll join us, Elena added quickly. You'll join us because together we can achieve things none of our civilizations could manage alone. Already, the combination of Nexeri FTL expertise and human quantum mechanics has opened up possibilities we never imagined. Imagine what we could achieve with dozens of species contributing their unique perspectives. The chamber filled with excited discussion as delegates began to grasp the full implications. This wasn't just a peace treaty or a political alliance. It was the beginning of a fundamental shift in how galactic civilization would function. Maya smiled as she watched the reactions. We have a saying on Earth, a rising tide lifts all boats. By working together, by sharing knowledge and understanding, we all advance. That's the future humanity envisions, not a galaxy of empires and subjects, but a cooperative of equals, each contributing their unique strengths to our collective advancement. As the summit continued, Admiral Chen found herself back at the observation deck, watching the assembled ships against the backdrop of Earth. Dr. Santos joined her again. Think they'll accept? Elena asked. Sarah smiled. They already have. They just don't all realize it yet. We're giving them something more powerful than conquest. We're giving them hope. Hope for a future where advancement doesn't require conflict, where understanding is more valuable than force. And if someone decides to test our resolve, the Admiral's expression turned serious. Then we'll do what we must, but not through destruction, through denial. Our quantum fields can render their weapons useless, their ships immobile. We'll maintain peace by making war impossible, not through superior firepower. Elena nodded, turning to watch as more ships arrived through quantum-stabilized corridors in space. You know, when we first detected alien life 15 years ago, everyone expected us to be the primitive species struggling to catch up. Instead, we became the teachers. Because we chose a different path, Sarah replied. We looked at the traditional progression of technology, bigger weapons, stronger shields, faster ships, and decided to try something completely different. And in doing so, we changed everything. The sun rose over Earth's horizon, its light refracting through the station's quantum-shifted crystal structure, creating a rainbow of possibilities. Humanity had faced its first contact, not with fear or aggression, but with innovation and wisdom. They had changed the galaxy not through force, but through understanding. And this was just the beginning.